Welcome back to A Lot Going On with Raj Architecture. We are back in Dubai, and because so many of you have been asking me when I'm around the world for more and more information about Dubai real estate, I'm making this video specifically for you. Joining me today is Amish Sheth, a former private banker turned real estate group owner. We're going to get so many raw insights directly from his perspective and across the group of businesses he's got. Thanks for taking the time to talk to us today, Amish.
Thank you, Raj. Thank you for inviting me.
Now, as I mentioned, you've got 2 or 3 different verticals. So I think this will set a good surface area for anybody who's listening, because there are, of course, multiple ways to make money in real estate
Absolutely.
in Dubai. Talk us through quickly each one of these 3 pillars of your business.
So basically, we have 3 verticals. One is a real estate company by the name of Junction Real Estate that basically helps investors buy and sell properties. And we have been in this business since 2013. So I've been in the business for more than a decade. The second vertical is Prive Hospitality Vacation Homes. This is a holiday home management company that basically takes the units, curates a holiday home experience, and basically uses this unit to host commercial travelers and tourists in Dubai. And the third service is Prive Design, which basically helps owners and investors design their empty spaces in line with the specifications which are laid down by Dubai Tourism Authority. And we basically have the expertise to create experiences that tourists typically look at when they visit Dubai. I mean, Dubai is a city of gold, right? So they want Instagrammable places, which basically, gives them the feel of the high life of Dubai.
So that's a kind of really broad surface area, or a big broad lens that you look at the market. Now, as I mentioned, you are a former private banker.
Correct.
So I'm expecting that at some level you're going to be somewhat of a pragmatist and not someone who buys into the hype. Answer this question first for me. The UAE real estate market, is the hype real? Like, is it something that genuinely any investor, forget whether they want to live in the property or not, but anybody who has money in multiple assets should be looking at?
Absolutely. I mean, the basic economics is demand and supply. So with Dubai, what has changed is post-COVID, the number of families that are relocating to Dubai, it's unprecedented. And the reason this is possible is because Dubai is the only city in the world that I know where you can relocate with your family, start a new business, start a new life within all done within a matter of 30 days, tops. And, before COVID, I mean, there were only 3 types of visas. There was a residency visa, there was a tourist visa, and there was a transit visa. Today, the leadership has created so many different structures that basically suits different individuals, whether it's a digital nomad or whether basically it's a freelancer who would want to come and work on a temporary basis in Dubai. All that facilitates the move of individuals to the city in a very, very organic manner. So the fact that there are people that are moving into the city at a record pace, the demand is genuine. And when the demand is genuine, obviously as an investor, if you invest in that city, you are definitely going to make money. I mean, I really believe that there isn't oversupply in the market is because the population is increasing month on month, year on year, post COVID. And if this population keeps on increasing, then this is the city to be in as a real estate investor. I mean, obviously demand supply is in your favor and the prices will keep on going up is because the city is expanding, and the fact that the population is increasing, we need to expand as a city in all the 4 directions to ensure that we are able to accommodate new families and new individuals who are now calling Dubai as their home.
Okay, so answer this question for me. There's been a massive amount of growth in Dubai real estate post-COVID. And naturally, if you're an investor in Dubai real estate, you may struggle with the fact that, truthfully, the best time to buy and have experienced this huge uptick in growth would have been 2021 to 2026. What would you say to an investor who's like, oh, I missed the boat?
I think the answer to your question is you need to be selective in terms of what location you're looking at, because not all locations are equal. And obviously, yes, there are certain locations which I believe in terms of price per square foot are probably overpriced, but then there are still pockets and opportunities across the city that is yet to be exploited. And I think if an investor is looking to, invest into Dubai, he needs to basically look at different locations and do his analysis based on location, and not be generic about how the real estate is performing across the board in the city. To give you an example, Dubai has a very limited coastline. So any property that you would purchase on the coast with a sea view, preferably, is always going to be in demand. And the fact that we have a limited developed coastline, the demand supply is always going to be in your favor. So even at current prices, if you are looking to basically invest into waterfront communities, the odds are in your favor that you will make money on a short to medium term on this investment. Again, being a private banker, I look at every investment opportunity with the lens of what are my odds of making money in this investment. So if the odds are favorable, I obviously would say that this is a great investment and you should consider it. Now in real estate, demand supply is, in my opinion, the most important benchmark that you should look at. And as an investor, if you feel that demand supply is something that's always going to be in your favor in this particular location, then this is the right location for you.
When we first met, I remember some months ago when we first got connected and we were speaking on Zoom, and you said that off-plan obviously presents a great opportunity. You're getting a discount on a property in terms of what its full value will be at handover. But you made the case that someone like yourself can just, walk down the street here in downtown Dubai today, find an apartment that's a fixer-upper with a full view of Burj Khalifa, buy it, turn it around, and have it either ready to move in or rent out as a holiday home in a few weeks, versus holding your breath for 3 months. Holding your breath for 3 years until this new property comes on board. Whilst I accept that obviously clearly that can be done in theory, how likely is a new investor to the market to be able to find those opportunities? And where do those opportunities come from? Are they do they ever make it to the open market and the portals? Is it like insider knowledge? Is it things that are sold or that you're informed about, that you tell your clients about? Where are these great deals?
Well, you need to basically be in touch with a great real estate company that understands the pulse of the secondary market. Now, obviously, the fact that we have been in this business for such a long time, we obviously understand the key locations that do really well in Dubai on a short to medium term basis. And again, the fact that we are also in the business of holiday homes, we look at every investment opportunity through the lens of demand supply from a real estate perspective, but we also look at the investment opportunities through the lens of what are the odds of basically converting this property into a holiday home, because not every property can be converted into a holiday home. There are only certain key factors that we need to meet in order to basically qualify that property as a holiday home worthy property, which would be basically, how far it is from the closest tourist attractions like Burj Khalifa, Dubai Mall, Palm Jumeirah, or the beach. Is there any metro station close by, or is there public transportation close by? So obviously the fact that we have a historical data and a good understanding in terms of what are the locations that typically do well as a holiday home, so we use that information coupled with obviously the real estate experience that we have, and we are able to identify opportunities for investors that they can look to buy into in the secondary market today, and not only start earning money from day one, but actually convert these units into holiday homes and start earning a higher ROI to the tune of, I would say, 20 to 30% more as compared to long-term rentals for the same property.
So answer this question for me. If someone's going to buy a secondary property, one that's already ready,
Right.
in Dubai, that means that somebody is selling that property.
Correct.
We've had this hockey stick growth curve of Dubai property prices for the last 5 years in Dubai. How many people are actually selling their properties? How many people are dumping their properties? How many people are taking the opportunity to liquidate those assets so that these secondary market investors can buy them?
The liquidity in the real estate sector is fantastic. I think Dubai probably is the most liquid market as far as real estate is concerned. At any given point in time, you have people who are buying and people who are selling the property. Now, There are various reasons as to why somebody would be selling their property in Dubai.
What are the top three?
They would want to basically cash in their profits and look at other opportunities within the city. They are probably migrating out of Dubai and relocating back to their home country, so they would just want to square off the investment and take the money, repatriate the money back to their home country. And the third one would be the family is growing, they were using this property for self-use, and they want to sell that and probably get invested into a larger space for themselves.
So the money kind of stays flowing around the market here. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So interesting when you're talking about like, moving back to their own country. Right now, I spend probably more time going back and forth between London and Dubai than most people. When you look at the US and when you look at the UK, there seems to be like an anti-globalization movement. There's a nationalization movement, anti-immigration, closing the borders, trying to kind of get all of these variables under lock and key in terms of who's working in the country, who's coming to the country. The UAE still has, for all intents and purposes, open borders and equal opportunities for anybody who wants to show up here and kind of make their dream life. When you talk to ultra high net worth investors, what are they saying about Dubai's approach, pro-immigration approach and pro-business approach versus the traditional West, London, New York? What's investors' perceptions of these places and how's it changed over the last few years?
I mean, see, US and UK are fantastic countries where historically entrepreneurs and top professionals have relocated to because they provided key advantages. One was obviously immigration, the second was security, and the third was easy access to capital. Since a decade, what has happened is security has kind of been a big question mark for US and for UK. Taxes are increasing, opportunities are reducing to do business, and overall the flexibility of basically growing as an entrepreneur are few than what they were a couple of years ago. So again, why people are relocating to Dubai? Let's focus on that. It's an open economy. You can basically relocate to the country, get the capital from your home country into the country, which is UAE, easily and start a new life. More importantly, the security is paramount. I mean, this is probably the only city that I know wherein you can basically, even if you're a billionaire, you can be in the city in and around without bodyguards. So most of the people are leaving UK or Europe is because of security reasons. I think they wouldn't mind paying the taxes because they are used to paying the taxes. So that's not something that is suddenly, that's not something that they are witnessing today. The only thing that has changed is security has become a major problem. Today, if you are an owner of a big corporation, you are not able to live a lifestyle that you are accustomed to because of security concerns. And that's the reason people are relocating to Dubai. More importantly, Emirates Airlines and the robust airport that it has in the city also gives them the convenience to basically roam the world and ensure that the business commitments are taken care of at ease. I mean, you can pretty much fly from Japan to Brazil, from Dubai, direct flights at which are almost on a daily basis. So I think the connectivity is also paramount. So I mean, if you have to sum it up, why people would move to Dubai: tax-free destination, fantastic security for you and your family, and a robust airport that basically connects the city to the entire globe.
What are the biggest negative myths about Dubai that need to be busted when it comes to thinking about relocating, moving here to pursue a better career or to bring your family here?
I would say a lot of people in the West would probably feel that it's a very conservative city, but I've stayed in this city for the last 43 years. I was born here in this city, and one thing that I can tell you is that this city is exceptionally tolerant. You are welcomed in the city and you are free to live a lifestyle that you're accustomed to. And it's a city that understands every culture, every religion, every race. And the opportunities that you have are equal for everyone.
You've been here for 43 years. Exactly how did Dubai take over New York and London as the world's number one tourist destination?
Let's face it, for most of the people, buying a ticket to Dubai is an impulse purchase.
Okay, say more.
You don't need much planning to visit Dubai. You have 120 plus nationalities that get visa on arrival. You could wake up in Japan or in Brazil and decide, I'm going to have dinner in Dubai, and that's possible. You have the outreach of Emirates Airlines connecting Dubai to the globe. And the reason you're coming to Dubai is because you want to basically live the high life of Dubai. There is a certain level of expectation that you have preconceived as a tourist before you come to Dubai.
Also, because the country is able to fulfill on it. With Dubai, there is a perception of like living the high life, luxury, great service, amazing food, cleanliness, and safety. And you come here and you get it. Whereas in London, you've got the perception of like, art, culture, and you go there and you're told, hey, leave your ring at home. And I think that contrast, word is getting around the planet about that contrast and expectations versus reality. And that's what's really helped Dubai zoom ahead. I'd probably say that's a fair way of like summarizing it.
Dubai always has its own way of meeting your expectations over and above.
So you don't often come across like people that own real estate companies and were born in Dubai. There are a lot of people that land in the city that kind of proudly talk about the fact that they're new to real estate and killing it. But you were born in this city and you're participating in the market, having built a career in private banking. All that factored in, how does it feel to see your city winning the way that it is?
Absolutely thrilling. I mean, this is the only home that I know for the last 43 years. And to see Dubai at a global stage where I can travel to any part of the world, and if somebody's asking me, where are you from? And I tell them I'm from Dubai, and I see that glitter in their eyes, they all would then tell me, how is it? They are curious to know how Dubai is, and they would want to come as a tourist, or they would want to come and settle in Dubai, and that's the game changer for me. I mean, the representation that Dubai has across the globe is phenomenal. And to be part of this history is magical.
You know what's crazy? Like for me, it's the opposite. Like me growing up in the UK and spending a significant amount of time living in London, like 10 years, it used to be amazing when I would go to like New York or Sydney or LA and someone goes, where are you from? Where's the accent from? And you go, London. And they're like, London? And they start thinking about double-decker buses and telephone boxes and the Queen and museums and all the rich history, the Beatles, not that they're from London, but, the UK music scene. Now you tell people you're from London, and they're like, ugh, like, what's it like there, right? Like there's protests on the street and phones are getting snatched. So it's so weird how you've gone, like you've risen to grace when it comes to Dubai and we've fallen from grace. I'm talking about in terms of public perception. And I noticed it a few years ago. I went out with my cousin in Toronto and I was like, yo, man, like, if someone asks me where I'm from, because I'm living in Dubai, I feel like this is the time I should start telling people I'm living in Dubai. He was like, no, do London. And instinctively inside me, I was like, I don't know if that's the right move. So we hit up some bars, restaurants. Obviously, people hear the accent, where you from? And I was like, London. And they were like, it hadn't fallen off the way it's fallen off now. The moment I started saying Dubai, and this was probably 3 years ago, again, it was the beginning of what you're talking about, of people's faces lighting up. And if there's one thing I think that Dubai's done really well, is that it's created like an open loop of curiosity. Like everybody knows something about Dubai, but not everybody knows everything about Dubai if they've not been here yet. And I would say even if you've been here on holiday or vacation, you still don't know what the Dubai 365 days a year experience is like, which means getting through Ramadan, getting through summer, getting through what we call season, which is like September through May, where the city's just rocketing on fire. Like we're recording this in the month of October, but any October of any year, if you come to Dubai, it's going to be on fire because people have come back after their like kids' vacation time or their family vacations, and they're just like digging their heels into the sand now and getting into work. So it's so interesting that you've picked up on that as well, because your data set is so much bigger than mine. You've lived here for 43 years. So you've seen people being like, oh, Dubai, where's that?
Right.
right through to, whoa, Dubai. Like, that's got to be a good feeling.
I mean, the brand name Dubai is bigger than anything. If you have a business in Dubai or if you are a tourist in Dubai, there's a certain level of expectation that you have, and that's because of the brand name that Dubai carries. Today, Dubai means luxury. Today, Dubai means security. Today, Dubai means opportunity. Today, Dubai means tax free destination. I think what Dubai stands for is land of opportunities for everyone across the globe.
All right, listeners. Well, listen, we've done our Dubai Fan Fest now. We spent a lot of time on that one. I want to now talk about like the money, and I want to talk about how to make money in Dubai real estate. Let's start off with the brokerage that you have. What split in that brokerage of business are you doing now between off-plan properties, where you can put a deposit down on a property and you get the keys 3 years later when it's built, and secondary properties? And tell me about that ratio and why it is the way that it is.
I would say the ratio would be 70-30. 70% of the properties that we sell are off plan. And the reason investors choose to buy off plan is because it gives them the flexibility of paying the installments over the period of time. So it's a leverage product in a way, wherein you take an exposure for, let's say if a villa is for 10 million dirhams, you take an exposure for 10 million in the market, but you're not paying the entire 10 million today. You're paying it over the period of, let's say, 3 to 4 years, depending on the size of the project and how, and depending on the delivery of the project. But the fact that you have the flexibility of paying money over the period of time is definitely a key attraction for most of the investors to buy off plan. Also, there are a lot of investors who are coming from India, Pakistan, Europe, where they have control in terms of how much money they can send out in a financial year for investments across the globe. So again, with that limitation in mind, if you buy an off plan, that really works well, is because you are able to basically send money as per the guidelines of respective central banks in your country, and still at the same time ensure that you have the piece of the action in Dubai.
Wait, so I've heard about this. This comes down to the fact that certain countries will only allow you to send money out of that country up to a maximum quantity per
Correct.
year. And so if in India, let's say it's 250,000 US dollars,
Correct.
if you do want to buy a place for $1 million, you won't be able to just wire $1 million out of India. And so these
Absolutely.
payment plans kind of sync nicely with the maximum limit that you can send in any given financial year, which means if you do pay over 3 to 4 years, you're not breaking the law in India.
Let's say if you buy a property of $2 million over the span of 4 years,
Yeah.
you are easily able to basically send $500,000 every year and still complete your obligation as far as the purchase of the property is concerned.
Wow. What if you've got like a husband, a wife, a husband's brother, a wife's brother, like, can they pool their money together and send it to one location?
So if they're co-owners on the property,
Yeah.
then yes, they can.
So are we seeing an increase in like syndicates and pools of people putting their allowances together in India and shipping the money over, or because, you have to share the properties?
Typically, it's the husband and wife that would buy the property, and the fact that they're joint co-owners of the property, $500,000 is something that they can easily send out every year to Dubai to basically buy a property. And that's one of the reasons why Indian investors, or investors, I would say Southeast investors, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, they typically like to buy property off plan, is because it gives them the leverage of paying for the property over the period of time. Over and about that, I mean, again, when you buy a property that's off plan, you're buying into a newer location that has a potential for capital appreciation, and you're buying into new construction. So again, there are a lot of advantages to buying an off plan property.
Do you have customers that bleed over from your brokerage to the holiday homes? Because if somebody wants to start making money owning a holiday home, which means that they own the property and then it goes out like, on a Airbnb style model, like it's rented out for the short term, obviously opportunity there for higher margins, but does that make sense if you're going to buy a property that's not handed over for another 3 years?
It definitely does make sense, is because the thing is, you're not paying for the property on day one. You're paying for the property over the period of time. That's
Right.
number one. Number two, when you get the keys, at that point in time, you always have the option, do you want to rent it long term or do you want to rent it short term? But also the fact that you have bought a property that's off plan, you also have the possibility of cashing in on the capital appreciation part of it and selling the property at handover. So again, there are a lot of advantages to someone looking at an investment that's off plan in Dubai. But I would say, in my opinion, the biggest advantage that you have is you are buying into a location that has a potential for capital appreciation.
So, with that being said, in terms of Dubai real estate, what are going to be the hottest handovers in 2028?
Dubai Hills Estate, Dubai Creek Harbor, and Emaar Oasis. These are the top three picks that I would always say are fantastic as far as investments are concerned. And there is room for capital appreciation, in my opinion, for investors. Building upon that, I'm really excited about Maritime City. Maritime City is a fantastic location that I believe would be a grade A premium location in next 3 to 4 years. And right next to it is Mina Rashid project by Emaar. So it's an amalgamation of Mina Rashid, which is by Emaar, and Maritime City, that both combined together offers unparalleled lifestyle on the coast of Dubai. And in my opinion, the price point that which they both are selling at the moment is very, very attractive. I
What's
mean,
the distance between them?
walking 10 to 15 minutes.
So, you could be living in Maritime City
Absolutely.
by Omniat
Right.
and then walk into the development that Emar's built.
Correct.
Or you could be living in Emar and walk across. So, you're kind of getting the best of both worlds.
Absolutely.
Ah,
So, I
nice.
mean, apart from Beyond, which is a subsidiary of Omniat,
Yeah.
you have Danube, you have Damak, to name other few developers who are also present in Maritime City. But by and large, the significant presence in Maritime City is of Beyond. So when you have one developer who's responsible for building a location, by and large, that location turns out to be exceptional.
Heading into 2026, how long is this window of opportunity to invest in these areas going to stay open? Because there's limited inventory. You want to kind of try and get in at the right price before somewhere else in Dubai is offering what this place is offering.
Again, Maritime City is not a very large location. I mean, so I would say that, you still have window of opportunity for another year and a half. And that's it. After that, this opportunity is gone, is because there will not be any more land to be developed in that location. And the fact that Dubai government and the RTA are looking at this location as one of the major developments on the coast, they are pumping in millions of dirhams into upgrading the infrastructure. You effectively have a scenario where these locations are going to be in line with Blue Water Island, Palm Jumeirah,
That good.
and La Mer down the line.
Yeah, but the ones you just mentioned are exceptionally good. You're saying your prediction is that what Omnia and Emar are building up there is going to play in the same conversation as like a Blue Water.
Absolutely.
That's crazy. Good for them. What about the people that are buying from you in those two neighborhoods? Do they have ambitions of short-term holiday rentals up there? Have you got folks that are moving in? What's the kind of current agenda?
Absolutely. I mean, the investors who are buying into Maritime City and Mina Rashid, they obviously have long-term and short-term options at their disposal when the property gets handed over. But again, the fact that it's a waterfront community, it's always going to do really well in short stay. Because if you see traditionally, all the communities on the coast of Dubai, they have done really well as holiday homes. I mean, to name a few, you have Blue Waters Island, you have Emaar Beachfront, and Palm Jumeirah. Across the board, you have exceptional traction as far as holiday home is concerned for these properties. So again, taking that into consideration and the historical performance of these communities, there is no doubt in my mind that Maritime City and Mina Rashid will also do really, really well as destinations that would be hosting tourist and commercial travelers down the line.
If you buy a property and you want to turn it into a holiday home, short-term rental where tourists can come and stay in there or business travelers can come and stay in there, how do you know what price per night to charge? Because surely it's going to be cheaper in July, August than it is in December. Are you setting the prices for these clients of yours?
Absolutely. So, I mean, as a holiday home operator, one of our key responsibilities is to basically ensure that, we get the pricing right for these properties. And it's a amalgamation of historical data and forward-looking data, which is given to us through an algo. So, obviously, algorithm gives us a blueprint that we can look into as far as how the property needs to be priced for the next 6 to 8 months. But then obviously we fine tune the pricing based on our historical experience of operating similar units in that location. So we basically then fine tune the pricing to our liking and to the price point that we feel would maximize the occupancy and the revenue potential of the property.
But if you've not got that level of experience and you're new to the industry and you've also not got access to the algorithms, is there any kind of like generic rule of thumb that a newcomer to short-term rental can use to figure out roughly where in the year they are and how much they should be charging?
Well, absolutely. I mean, in summer, typically the price for most of the property is discounted by 50 to 60%. And the reason I say 50 to 60% is because hospitality industry works as a pyramid in Dubai, wherein at the top of the pyramid, you have hotel operators and hoteliers in Palm Jumeirah, which is, I would say, in terms of price per square footage, is the most expensive piece of real estate in Dubai. So obviously, hotels in Palm Jumeirah, when they slash their pricing by 60%, it has a domino effect across the board, and all the.
Is it also the case for price per night as well?
Absolutely. So I mean, just to give you an understanding, I mean, typically in summer months you can get a hotel room in Palm Jumeirah anywhere between 600 to 1,000 dirhams per night, depending on the kind of property that you select. And that same property would be in north of 3,000 dirhams upwards when you are in winter season. So the fact that Palm Jumeirah slashes the price by 60%, you have all the other operators in all the other locations following that same discount pattern for their pricing. And again, when the season kicks in and the price obviously gets revised, when Palm Jumeirah revises the price, all the other hoteliers and holiday home operators would revise the price.
It's like a Palm pricing index.
Absolutely. I mean, we basically benchmark our pricing based on what happens in Palm.
So now people know how you're doing it. Okay, but that's fair. That's good. I mean, that's a good. I guess if you are thinking about it, you can almost look at the curve of up and down pricing over a 12-month window to figure out roughly what curve your apartment will follow or your villa will follow if you put it on short-term rental.
There's obviously a macro level pricing and a micro level pricing. Macro level pricing is, I would say, generic to the location where the property is based, but then micro level would be obviously based on individual properties in terms of how well they are furnished, what kind of view do they have. Obviously, that needs to be factored in when you basically price that unit.
So if an investor agrees to buy some properties from you and says, all right, Amish wants to hand it over in 3 years, turn them into short-term holiday homes, talk me through your pricing strategy and how that curve goes up and down and how you kind of squeeze the most profit out for your investors.
So basically, our pricing strategy is that in summer months, which is June, July, August, September, we want to focus on occupancy. We would not really be focused on making money during the season, but whatever money that we make is a bonus. Now, the fact that if I have a decent summer, what it translates into is my ability to take risk as a holiday home operator in the winter season would go up. Now, what I mean by saying my ability to take risk is in winter season, typically what I would do is I would only take forward bookings on a particular unit 70 to 75% or of the calendar. I would still keep 25% of the calendar open, is because Dubai is a last minute destination. You would have bookings that would come in at the last moment, which would pay you the maximum premium, which again then would change the entire equation in terms of how much money you have made as an operator for the entire month. So our strategy is to make sure that 20 to 25% of the calendar in winter season remains open to take advantage of the opportunities that you would get through last minute bookings.
Okay, so that's the first time I'm hearing that concept. What you're basically saying is that in the month of summer or in the summer months, the focus is not like profitable revenue. It's just the revenue you get from occupancy. It's better that there's some revenue coming in than nothing. But in winter, whilst you can charge a premium because there's more demand, you're saying that even though you can charge a premium, you don't sell all of it. You sell, let's say, 75% of it, and then you hold back 25% or 30% to almost have like a premium plus, like an optimized over the top.
Absolutely.
But that's the risk you're referring to, is that even though you know you could just sell everything as a premium way in advance, you'll still hold back some inventory so that your investor can benefit from, albeit 5, 10, 15%
Because the only way
above
I
premium.
can capitalize on the opportunity of last minute bookings is if I have the inventory on that day to sell.
So it's your responsibility to have some inventory to address last minute. Otherwise, you'll always be known as the company that's booked out completely.
Absolutely.
That's a good, sophisticated perspective. Like, it's almost like dynamic pricing, but reserved for a very focused boutique business
And
like
this
yours.
strategy would work in Dubai is because Dubai is a last minute destination. This strategy would not work in New York, or it would not work in Cambodia,
Because people plan to go their
because
way in
people
advance.
plan to
Yeah.
basically go to Cambodia, they get their visa sorted, and they basically have the entire travel itinerary chalked out before their travel dates. So this strategy would not necessarily yield dividends in other cities, but in Dubai, which is predominantly known as an impulse city for travel purposes, you having 20 to 25% of your calendar open always would give you dividends as a holiday home operator.
Yeah, it's
That
true,
last
because-
minute bookings are gold.
Yeah, because 10, 15 years ago, I remember people in London saying, I'm going to New York for the weekend shopping. And now I never hear that. Whereas I do hear people going for a 4-night trip to Dubai, leaving on a Thursday, leaving on a Friday, coming back on a Monday, coming back on a Tuesday. And that's become absolutely commonplace. And it's even more so because you've got Emirates, which can pick you up 5 times a day from almost every airport in the UK. And then in the October months as well, you've got Virgin that's flying here now. They've started doing seasonal flights here again. Or the via Qatar, via Bahrain. It's so easy to get here.
I mean, it's not only even tourists, I mean, as a holiday home operator, we actually have clients whose security deposit is with us for the past 4 years. It's because they visit city every month. They like a place, they like our service. They would tell us, keep the security deposit. I'm going to rebook this apartment for the next month, and the month after you have my documents. So it's very, very easy. KYC on the client is already done. So it's not only the tourist that regularly visits the city, but the fact that Dubai is such a commercial magnet. You have commercial travelers visiting city for business purposes almost on a monthly basis.
See, right now it's interesting. You sound more like a banker than a broker. Inside your organization, do you hire kind of like more sophisticated brokers that speak in almost like a banker language the way that you do? Because from what I'm hearing across the city, there is already a talent war going on to bring great brokers into your organization. But it sounds to me like in your company, not only do you need great broker talent, but you need people that can speak to sophisticated investors and ultra high net worth people. Like, do you believe there's a talent war, and is it something that you're tackling at the moment?
We are very selective in our hiring. We need to value add in terms of what can we do as an organization once your property is ready. Today you have bulk of the brokers who are basically telling the investor, you need to invest in this location or you need to invest in this property, is because you're going to make money, and that's it.
Because the broker wants to make money,
Absolutely.
which is just your classic buy and goodbye broker, right? Like they get you
Correct.
to buy it and then they're like goodbye. They're not around for when you transfer that into whatever you want to do, whether you want to move in 3 years later or use it as an asset.
An investor is buying a property to make money on that investment. And there are a couple of ways you can make money as an investor. But we need to basically understand what are his objectives. And we need to basically give him a definitive game plan in how is he going to achieve his investment objectives by investing into this property.
But how do you hire brokers that can do that? Like I'll tell you kind of specifically what I'm getting at here is that it's kind of like the thing that's not being said out loud in the city at the moment. And I'm not in real estate, so I feel like I can say it. But the traditional model of hiring a broker inside your brokerage, they sell some property, that property sale kicks out a commission, which goes to the brokerage, and half of that gets passed down to the broker. We're now hearing of, more than half. We're hearing of 70% going to the broker and 30% staying with the brokerage, or 80% going to the broker and 20% staying with the brokerage, from which the brokerage has to pay for the lighting, the building, the health insurance, and, inevitably other costs as well, like marketing the brokerage. Is that sustainable? Like, how far can you push that ratio?
It's not sustainable.
Are you doing it? Are you going, you'd have to say, but are you north of 50% on any of your transactions that you pay out?
Absolutely. If I'm making, let's say, 30% on every transaction, for me to make the same amount of money that I was making, let's say, 5 years ago, I need to hire more brokers. More broker means more real estate space, bigger office.
More health insurance,
More health
visas.
insurance, more visas,
Yeah.
utility cost goes up. So effectively, I'm looking at a higher fixed cost,
Right.
higher marketing cost.
Right.
I mean, you have portals like Dubai, Property Finder, and Bayouth that would be charging us a lot more money for listing those properties on their portal, is because we need a larger package to accommodate the larger team size that we have to now incorporate to basically make the same amount of money. So at the end of the day, my base in terms of making money has reduced. My expenses have gone up, and this is not a very sustainable model at the end of the day.
Through our agency, Creative Content Agency, we've done a ton of work for different brokerages. Sometimes you find yourself in conversations with brokerages about some of the challenges that they're facing. One thing that some brokerages that have told us that have lost top billing talent is that the reason why some of their top brokers left was not because of how much money they were making, but because they were not getting the social media support and they were not getting the coverage that they wanted as a broker within this brokerage to build up their personal brand and help them sell more. Are you looking at people's personal brands when you hire them? How important is it to you?
Absolutely. I think, today being on social media is very, very important. The entire landscape of selling real estate in Dubai has changed, or I would say even globally it has changed. Today, your audience or your next buyer is on the phone. So you have to basically reach out to him through a channel through which he is comfortable communicating with you. So today, being on social media is exceptionally important. If you're not on social media today, it's going to be very difficult for you to be in business. It is that important.
And it's going more and more that way in the future, especially with like each generation becoming more and more connected to like their mobile devices and building their decisions on that. If you mentioned that your family travels a fair amount, right? I think you said like 6 times a year once in the past. You said to me you travel 6 times a year. 2 boys, right?
Absolutely.
If one of your boys came up to you today in their younger years and said, Dad, one day I want to go into real estate, would you let them?
I would not have it any other way. I mean, real
Really?
estate is an industry that gives you opportunities that
Yeah.
no other industry can. And again, I mean, real estate is part of every rich man's portfolio. Any portfolio is divided into 2: real estate portfolio and non-real estate portfolio. So again, I mean, real estate is an industry that gives you immense opportunity and gives you effectively license to make as much money as you want.
Yeah.
If you are true to your genre and if you are a believer that you want to basically give the right advice to an investor, this is the best industry to be in.
Would you ever let your sons work for another brokerage?
Absolutely not.
Really, eh? Okay, so let's say that you've got one of your kids starting work for you. The day before your son starts in real estate, knowing that his dad is a big guy in that world, what piece of advice would you give him?
The only piece of advice I would give him is you need to always think for your investor. You need to do the right thing for your investor, which basically means you have to give him an advice which is unbiased and honest. This is the only piece of advice I will give him. Integrity and honesty is a driver on which you can build your career.
Okay, Amish, that's amazing. It's going to take me some time to absorb some of that. After the Dubai Love Fest, we really did get into some of the nitty gritty about the business model, and I'm definitely keen to find out more, which we will do on a future episode. But for now, thank you so much for jumping on the show today. If anybody wants to check out your company website, they're interested in buying properties, turning them into holiday home rentals, or even renting a holiday home, where should they go?
They can just go to our website, www.theprive.ae. And
THEPRIVE
absolutely.
.AE.
And they would be able to find all the information that they need. And obviously, they'll have my contact details and they can reach out to me directly for one-to-one consultation.
All right, amazing. Thanks so much, man.
Thank you so much, Raj.
Okay, if you enjoyed the show, make sure you like, subscribe wherever you listen to this podcast, and we'll catch you on the next episode.